Some of the players who had toured England in 1930 featured in one of the first talking films ever made in Australia.
And now let us see the Prince of Batsmen in action. Don Bradman, just come to man's estate and already known as the most phenomenal run-getting machine the world has ever seen. Here's a bird's-eye view of the great batsman in action, the slow-motion camera giving you every detail of his movements. In addition to being the world's greatest batsman, he is a remarkable fieldsman. Like a flash, and bang goes the wicket.
Against the West Indies in the summer of 1930-31, he averaged 74.5, and the next season he averaged 201.5 with 2 double centuries against South Africa.
Jessie and I, as I said, came to school through here every day. She didn't know it. I think I was then, not sure whether it was 11 or 12, but I decided to marry her. I didn't ask her. I didn't ask her, I was too shy. But eventually I got around to it after about another 10 years. And so formed the best partnership of my life.
And you had an unusual honeymoon.
well, that was accidental in a way. Arthur Maley had tried to arrange a tour of Canada in the United States of America, and I wasn't anxious to go, but on the other hand, Arthur said to me, now look, this tour is totally conditional upon your coming and being a member of the party. If you don't play, the tour is off. And so this really put me on a bit of a spot, you see, so I consulted with my employers and they said that was all right, they'd give me the time off to go if I wanted to go, and of course it would be a wonderful opportunity to see Canada and the USA, and an opportunity also for my wife as well to be in the party and have a good holiday. So in the end, I decided to go on the trip, and I never regretted it. It was a very enjoyable, very exciting period.
The summer of 1932-33 brought the first real setbacks of Don Bradman's career. First, his employment contract was threatened because it breached the cricket board's rules on players writing about the game.
That placed me in a totally untenable position that I had never anticipated. But I immediately said, well, come what may, I am going to honour my contract. Even if it means my retirement from cricket altogether and I can't play, I'm going to honour my contract. And that was the position, and that would have stood, except that the newspaper concerned found itself also in a very difficult situation, in that if they made me adhere to that contract, or if I did adhere to their contract, they would then be held responsible for putting me out of Test cricket. I wouldn't play for Australia. So in the end, they came along to me and said, look, we want you to play for Australia, we prefer you to play for Australia, instead of writing this Test series.
Bradman's supremacy on the cricket field was challenged too by the bodyline tactics devised by England's captain, Douglas Jardine, and spearheaded by Harold Larwood, the fastest of the 4 pace bowlers in the England team.
You haven't played.
Jardine's dislike of Australians went back to 1921, when the touring Australian team had stopped him from getting a century for Oxford University by keeping him away from the strike. In 1932-33, Jardine packed most of his fieldsmen on the leg side and instructed his fast bowlers to bowl bounces at the batsman's body. Bodyline was devised to curb Bradman's dominance. They didn't bowl it all the time, but when they did, it was devastating. It was also, by any normal standards of sportsmanship, unthinkable.
We were very upset, of course, with the tactics they were using, and there was no way that we would have retaliated. Our skipper, Bill Woodfull, would never have used those tactics under any circumstances, any more than Gubby Allen would on the English side. He refused to bowl them. The difficulty was how you're going to counteract them. You see, with